It is unheard of in New York State, in any criminal case, that a defendant can be indicted on a crime and not know what that crime is. It's a violation of the Fifth Amendment. It wasn't in the indictment, the Bill of Particulars, opening statements, so that the defendant could not defend himself against these make-believe crimes over which New York State has no jurisdiction. I mean, the whole thing is like a smoke and mirror show. Donald Trump's a bad person. He must be guilty of something. And by the way, you don't have to be unanimous on what that something may be.
To me, it was a very difficult day today. I heard a man with a robe instructing a jury that on issues that I know as a former judge, exactly as he was, were just plain wrong, reversible error. I was stunned at what he brought up and what he said.
On Wednesday, Judge Merchan gives updates on jury notes. The jury had asked Judge Merchan to reread his instructions to them. Merchan subsequently asked the juries to clarify whether they wanted all the instructions or only part of them. The judge said Thursday that they received another jury note explaining that the jurors want to specifically hear the description of how they are to consider the evidence and what inferences can be drawn from the facts. They also want to hear the description of the law for the charge at issue in the case. Merchan estimated that's about 30 pages of instructions that he'll have to reread. So at the opening of this video, you saw Judge Janine say, this is just completely absurd. As a former judge, she's never seen anything like this, as have, dozens and dozens, if not more, legal experts and scholars and law professors. If the jury is asking at this point where all the evidence has been submitted, the defense has rested, the prosecution has rested, all key witnesses and thereof have all been called, all been heard from, you mean to tell me they still don't know what the actual charges are? And you're going to tell me, Vegetable in Chief Biden, Kami Kamala, the woke mind radical mafia, the consortium, the Biden, Obama, Oprah consortium. You're going to tell me, Clinton's in there too, that this is totally legitimate? That he should be charged? That he should be found guilty? That these courts and this criminal justice system is impartial? Especially after the video of Senator Eggman came out and said, I'm sick and tired of covering for you guys. We're not going to abuse children. I'm sick and tired of it. An actual Democratic senator coming out. I did a video on this. If you haven't seen this, check out my YouTube or Rumble, where she literally said, I'm sick and tired of covering for you guys. I'm sick and tired of it. I can't sleep at night, essentially admitting my conscience is killing me. After all this time, after weeks and weeks of testimony and back and forth and gagging the former president. And by the way, the fake Don, Juan Merchan, still addresses Trump, not as Mr. President, but as Mr. Trump, which a lot of people, including yours truly, would classify that as a grave needling of disrespect. I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Do you think that Merchan should refer to him as Mr. President or Mr. Trump? I mean, I just feel the guy is a former president. I mean, give him his due respect. That's just me. Jury also requested headphones to plug into their court-supplied laptop so that they could listen to the evidence recordings. Merchan suggested he could also provide them a speaker to allow them to listen to the audio together in the deliberation room. This is the weird part. I don't understand this at all. The judge started rereading the requested roughly 30-page portion of his instructions to the jury. And it's about 35 pages long. But here's what I don't understand. Why are you reading these instructions to the jury at this point in time of the case when everything is said and done? Why don't they have a copy of this? It's very, very uncharacteristic. It's very much a deviation from protocol. It seems abundantly clear to yours truly, who's looked at things like this for 30 years, that this is Judge Merchan's way of injecting himself in every aspect of this verdict. Not only the trial, not only the biases, not only the gag order that he placed on President Trump, the gag order he did not, quite abundantly clearly, did not attribute to serial perjurer Michael Cohen. He didn't give Michael Cohen a gag order, but he gave the president one. Why are you reading these instructions out loud? It just makes no sense. We have some insight from some of the reporters from the press as to what was happening while Mershon was reading these instructions. It says one man presses 2 fingers to his temple, appearing in deep concentration as he listens to the judge. Another nods along at certain points. Several are jotting down notes. This is the jurors who were listening intently as Mershon reread the instructions. After roughly a half an hour of rehearing some of the judge's legal instructions, jurors now started listening after that to something else they requested, which is portions of testimony from National Enquirer publisher David Pecker and a bit from Trump's ex-lawyer, Michael Pinocchio Cohen. That's our nickname for him. Court stenographers reread both witnesses' testimony about an August 2015 Trump Tower meeting at which Pecker agreed to publish articles that favored then-candidate Trump and assail his opponents as to serve as the campaign's, quote, eyes and ears, end quote, for potentially damaging stories and rumors so they could be suppressed. It's interesting that they asked to reread that testimony. They're taking David Pecker's testimony, perhaps. They want to compare, contrast Pecker's testimony to Cohen's. Where is the disconnect? Where is the connective tissue? And how does that align with either proving the president's innocence or guilt? The jury also asked to rehear Pecker's testimony about a phone call he says he had with Trump about a hush money deal that the National Enquirer's parent company made with former Playboy model Karen McDougal, and about Pecker's decision not to sell the rights to McDougal's story to Trump. She claimed she had an affair with Trump, which he denies. After the reading of the testimony was finished, jurors returning to deliberate, the foreperson indicated the jurors would like both headphones and a speaker to listen to recordings that are in evidence. And by the way, just in case you don't know who this jury is, the jury of Manhattanites includes a sales professional, a software engineer, security engineer, a teacher, a speech therapist, multiple lawyers, an investment banker, and a retired wealth manager. But their identities aren't public, and members of the media were ordered during jury selection not to report specifically on where potential jurors have worked, and to be careful about revealing detailed information about their identities. Anonymous juries have long existed, particularly in terrorism and mob-related cases, or when there is a history of jury tampering. They have been ordered more frequently in the last 2 decades with the rising influence of, obviously, multiple media, digital media, social media, and all the anonymous hate speech that is sometimes associated with it. Usually, courtroom artists are told they aren't permitted to draw the face of any juror in their sketches. New York courts do not permit video coverage, obviously, of their trials, which I think is just a really big mistake. I think in all due honesty, if your case is strong enough, if you believe in the criminal justice system, impartiality, and unbiased perspective, then why not? For the sake of transparency, why not have all of these trials, all of these, every single aspect of this case should be televised. You could even get revenue from this. The state could get revenue. They could, instead of taxing the hell out of citizens, get some revenue from this. I mean, it could be huge for advertisers. So as of now, right now, it's just a huge waiting game. It is already, as of this recording, getting pretty late in the afternoon. It's almost 4 o'clock East Coast time. And so there's a really good chance there probably won't be a verdict. A lot of people have said the longer the jury deliberates, the better it is for the defense. If the jury comes back with a quick verdict, that usually, again, generally speaking, there's always exceptions. There's never been a case like this. This is historic. The first time a former president of the United States has ever been in a criminal trial like this, or perhaps ever could potentially be convicted in a criminal case such as this. This is a huge exception, a huge anomaly to the norm. And so if they come back quick, generally speaking, that bodes pretty bad for the defense and former President Donald Trump. So right now we're just waiting. And your boy Nez is going to keep you covered up to date, up to second, up to minute, faster than anybody else will. This is your one-stop shop. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow. Tap that thumbs up right now so we can spread the word. This is the only place you need to be. Now, I want to talk about this. Will Scharf, who is an attorney for Donald Trump, told CNN in his exclusive interview what would happen if Trump gets convicted. So I want to just share this really quickly. Quote, "If there were to be a conviction here, which we believe would be a gravely unjust verdict, as does many people, we would speedily appeal to the New York Appellate Division, potentially to the New York Court of Appeals as well. And we'll take that step if we get there." Without really elaborating, Mr. Scharf stated that so far we think that appears to be highly unlikely outcome here. So he actually thinks, again, he's defense attorney, but he's a very, very accomplished, widely credible, widely renowned attorney, Mr. Will Scharf. He says it is highly unlikely that any guilty verdict will come about. Let's all pray and hope for that. And then President Trump just posted this very recently on Truth Social today. "Can anybody believe that our government would be spending tens of millions of taxpayer dollars on prosecuting this capital letters ridiculous case? I did nothing wrong. In fact, I did everything right. The testimony in court was amazing for the defense," President Trump wrote. Now, I agree with that. I think Todd Blanchard did an amazing job. If you remember correctly, the prosecution's closing summations earlier in the week went over 5 hours. Over 5 hours. That is absolute insanity. And so the longer that this goes on, we shall see what happens, but you've got to stay tuned. You've got to subscribe. The best way to do it is to subscribe to our free newsletter. That's in the show notes, pinned comment, and in the description. Become a Nez Nation Insider. It is your sure-proof, fail-safe way of never missing out. Latest videos, live streams. We've got a fantastic interview with Fani Willis, Cash Money G whistleblower, tomorrow, Friday, at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss that, trust me. But your sure-proof way of never missing out is to become a Nez Nation Insider. It's our free newsletter. Pin comment, show notes, description. Just give us your best email. Boom, you're in your one-stop shop. We cover everything that mainstream woke media won't cover for you. I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right now. And as always, God bless you, and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.